Well, good morning, Internet. How are you? Today is September 18th, 2021. It'd be the 8th month, 12th, 2021, year of the ox, or 11 Safar, 1443. At the time of recording, it's just a few minutes after 4 a.m. local time. And I've been up since 2. Can't sleep. Got something on my mind. I was driving yesterday listening to somebody I've been listening to a lot lately over the last year with the pandemic. Really kind of looking out for other news sources. The mainstream media can be depressing. Um, it's trying to find other people's takes, trying to find people who had researched topics, had expertise in the field. Uh, Anyhow, I stumbled across this channel and uh, big beard on this guy, southern accent, uh, someone you'd expect out of a movie about alligator wrestling or something. But this video, he's talking about a question that he got from a viewer asking how they should conduct this um, some forum that they were inviting these police officers to. And the question was from a black man, and this forum was for open carry licenses or concealed carry licenses, or whatever the case may be, for blacks, and they wanted his take on how they should go about this um, to avoid possibly any incidents. Should they all wear suit and ties? Um, and I remember reading down in the comments things that said like, "Finally, a white guy who gets it." Um, so all that being said, I'm listening to this channel, and he reads an email from another black man who wrote in and asked him for his take. He wanted to hear it from a white guy. And the question basically came down to this, is that he had been called this racial term throughout most of his life. And if you're not from this area, it's not the word you think it is. It's a word we use every day. It's a very common word. Um, in fact, probably most of the country would be completely oblivious that this term would be used derogatory. Uh, but not in the South. You would know exactly when someone said this what they meant. And he was talking about how throughout his life, these white men would come up to him and use this term, let him know he wasn't welcome there, that he needed to get on out, keep moving along. And then they'd call him a bunch of other things, like a snowflake, because, mama's boy, whatever else, just to try and get under his skin. What would he do? And he talks in this letter about how he just keeps quiet. Wait till they leave. Then he go punch something. Many times himself. Sometimes cry. Just this anger and this rage build up. The truth of the matter is, if he ever had enough one day and laid into one of these guys, 10 to 1, that guy would just collapse, fold. Most guys like this, they're weak people. And the moment somebody actually bites, man, they scurry home. But the danger isn't this black man lashing out against the aggressors. The danger is what happens after. What happens when the police show up? What happens next week when 5 of this guy's buddies show up at his doorstep? I remember more than a decade ago now, I was in the South visiting. We were some friends of mine. We were running a race, and one of the guys in the group had grown up in the area, and he wanted to take us out to an establishment in the South known for black cuisine. He was black himself, and he said, you need to go to this place. You need to go to this place, and you're a bunch of white guys from all over the country. We're sure, let's go. Um, and we walked into this place. Interestingly enough, we had been talking earlier about racial issues, and I can't remember the conversation. It was a decade ago, but just kind of this idea that only white people can be racist, and is that true? And so we walked into this restaurant, and the server comes up to us and says, "Oh yeah, sure, follow me." And so, two white guys, a white woman and a black man in this group. Might have been 3 white guys, I don't remember, but she takes us into this back room where there's like 2 tables. I mean, there's all kinds of tables out front that are open, but she walks us all the way to the back of the restaurant, and we sit down in this little room in the back where there's like 4 tables. And we wait till the server leaves, before we start razzing our friend a little bit, like, "Oh yeah, can't be racist, huh?" And he's like, "That's not being racist." And we just kind of shrugged it off. Lo and behold, just before our food comes out, a white couple, probably in their mid 40s, early 50s, um, comes into the restaurant and gets escorted back into this back room and sits down at one of the other tables. And we looked over at this couple, and we looked back at our friend, and he's got his face like buried down in the menu, like he didn't want to look at us. And we wait till the server leaves, and we start laughing. Um, because we could laugh. Because that one incident wasn't going to change 250 years of people that look like me oppressing people that look like my friend sitting across the table from me. It did sting a little. It was definitely uncomfortable the rest of the meal to be there because we knew we really weren't welcome. And what really kind of stuck with me was I thought that was one time. Right? Like, I could shrug it off because I wasn't going to walk outside and suddenly I was now the minority. That this one incident suddenly was going to be the new normal for my life. That that one time I had to sit in the back room, that suddenly I was no all my privilege for being, a white male in American society was suddenly going to be taken away from me. So I could laugh about it, but it really made me think. What if the reverse was true? Like, what would that do to my psyche? I mean, what if every time I went out to a restaurant, the expectation was I was going to have to sit in the back? The exception was being treated normal, that I could ask for a window seat, or it would be offered to me without me even asking. What would that do to you? Every day you wake up and you're told you're other, you don't matter, or at least you don't matter as much as these people do. How many times do you have to hear something before you start to believe it's true? Words matter. They have meanings. Um, the movie Schindler's List, um, there's a scene where Oscar Schindler, played by Liam Neeson, is talking to his assistant, played by Sir Ben Kingsley. And uh, Schindler says a term, and haven't seen the movie in years, and I can't remember what the word was. And Sir Ben Kingsley he says, can we call it something else? And, Liam Neeson's character is confused. That's what it is. What do you mean call it something? And Sir Ben Kingsley has to explain that. Well, right, but the Nazis used that term to mean a concentration camp, or to be killed, or something that was just very, very scary for, if you were a Jewish person at this time, you would not use that word. But it was just a common everyday word. And Liam Neeson says, well, what do we have to do? Invent a whole new language now? And Sir Ben Kingsley responds, well, maybe. When, at the time, candidate Biden was in a debate, and he was called out for using a term I've used my whole life. As a compliment, absolutely as a compliment. In fact, I know I use this term. I can remember the conversation at the time. Senator Obama was running for president, and after hearing him speak, I said, "He is so well spoken." I assure you, I am paying high praise when I say that. I had no idea from the region that I live in that that could ever be used or has ever been used um, in a derogatory way. And I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry that people who look like me have taken our language and twisted. I was brought up that I was supposed to treat other people the way that I want to be treated. And I don't ever want to be forced to sit in the back room of a restaurant again. And so I won't use that term anymore. And if you're one of my friends and I've said it about you or around you and you heard it in a way that told you you were other or people that look like you were lesser, I'm sorry. I say thank you for those of you who continue to work in me. Um, Help me see things I can't see in myself, or just illuminate things that I'm just ignorant to because I've never been forced to sit in the back of the room before. Well, have a good day.